Hello and welcome to our second Flipped Collaborate recording for the trimester for supporting inclusion for primary. This one's for Assessment 2, your team research report and statement. My name's Karina Stocker and I'm the UC and also an ELA in this unit. Our live session will be held next Wednesday the 19th of April at 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and we'll run through an example analysis of a school statement and its application to Rowan's transformative analysis framework. So pop this date in your diary. However, if there is some reason that you're unable to attend the live session, we'll make sure that there is a recording available to you shortly after. So assessment 2 in a nutshell, the word limit is 2,000 words, so that's the whole submission. 500 words for each school statement, so that's and there's 3, so that's 1,500 words, and then there's 500 word allocation for your individual statement. And to ensure that you at least pass this assessment task, you must have contributed to the research surrounding the analysis of one statement to your team's table. To break this down a little, so your submission will have 3 tables and they'll all be the same. The only difference is you will have an individual statement. So each member will need to submit individually, not as a team. So what you'll do is you'll copy and paste the 3 tables that contain each of the school statements and your team's analysis of this, and then you'll have your individual statement following on from this. And you need to submit it as one Word document, and then you won't have any issues when submitting. So the 3 tables will all be the same, and then obviously everyone's individual statement will be different at the end. The weighting is only 20%, which is great. It is a team assessment, and so therefore it does rely on all of the team members to contribute to experience success. And it is due on Monday the 8th of May at 5 p.m, which is in week 8. So let's have a look at the assessment criteria. Number 1, we are assessing you on your knowledge and understanding of pedagogical approaches. These understandings should be displayed throughout your entire submission. So, from your interpretation of how each school is employing various teaching practices based on their broader understanding of inclusive practices, and how they have interpreted relevant policies at a local level, so at the school level, all the way through to your own reflections on your team's findings and how you yourself will adopt these selected pedagogical approaches within your own classroom and teaching practices. So number 2, we're looking at the depth of your research into the connections and recommendations you have made between the theoretical, the broader societal, and the educational context that impacts on inclusion and wellbeing practices at the school level. Your analysis will have maintained relevance to this context and considered the effectiveness of such practices for your own teaching practice. Number 3 is utilising the learning materials and wider scholarly literature to support and enhance your work. And number 4, this is referring to a university level of academic expression that will be displayed throughout your submission. This means you will have proofread and revised your work prior to submission, ensuring it's free from grammatical, spelling, punctuation errors, as well as clearly articulating your findings and reflection on your own future teaching practice. You will have acknowledged your sources of information in APA 6th edition format and met all the structural components of the assessment details, including those of the table expectations. Please remember that this assessment is marked by our ELAs with a holistic rubric that has been provided for you in the assessment details, so you know exactly what you're working towards. With these holistic rubrics, all areas of each grade must be achieved prior to moving up to that next grading. So in order to achieve a credit result, you need to have fulfilled all the expectations of a pass grading before you can move to that credit rating. So this means that your assessment is viewed as a whole. So this slide really is about the process, the assessment process. Sorry, I couldn't get the words out then. So it displays the team and individual components of this assessment task. So many successful experiences and outcomes within education are based on positive collaborative teamwork. Teamwork within a university framework, as you'll be doing in this assessment, is designed to build upon and strengthen your experiences in this area prior to heading into an industry that requires you to work effectively, efficiently, and constructively with your colleagues and other stakeholders. And you would have noticed this during prac, just how much teamwork is embedded in an educational environment. So this is what we're aiming to strengthen when doing team assessments such as this. So let's look at this slide a little more closely. The initial element of the assessment is to form a team, which you would have done in your learning group already. If you haven't allocated yourself to a team, your ELA will do this by the end of week 5. And this is really important as you need to start collaborating before consolidation week. So you need to have selected one of those school statements each, and then you can start to research your school statement. And that's just the initial process. So then you'll come back together once you have conducted that individual component, the independent research of your selected school statement in relation to Rowan's transformative analysis. And we're going to go through this more thoroughly in week 5 and 6, so you have a better understanding of the practical application to Rowan's transformative analysis. So once you've conducted your individual research, you'll come back as a team and present your research to the team. So you're just going off and doing that research. And then together as a team, you'll need to complete the table template for each school statement. So you'll need to do 3 completed tables for your team. When you collaboratively fill in those tables, you'll need to be happy because this is marked as a team. So you all need to work together and be happy with what you come up with. Then to finalize your assessment, you're going to individually complete the statement in regards to your future pedagogical approaches in relation to what you found as a team. What will you use in your future teaching practice? Okay, so using Rowan's transformative analysis framework, you are to examine the language the schools use to articulate their pedagogical practices in relation to inclusion. You'll quickly see that some schools do this really well and some have room for improvement. Your team of 3 must examine each of these school statements and analyse these in accordance with the questions in the table template based on Rowan's transformative analysis framework. So statement 1 is a Department of Education primary school in regional Australia. Statement number 2 comes from a religious primary school and it's metropolitan. And statement number 3 is an independent K-12 school and it's also metropolitan. The activities within our learning materials for week 5 and week 6 are related to using this, and they've been designed to scaffold your understanding, to build upon your understandings so you know what you're doing when it comes to this assessment. This is giving you valuable practice, so please try to complete these activities and provide feedback to each other in your learning groups prior to attempting this team task. It really is a great practice for you. So you've been given a range of information for all 3 schools in the assessment details, including their priorities, which are either directly stated or implied, and the programs they run to provide a platform for these within their school. Your task is to focus on how that particular school interprets policies and broader understandings about inclusive practice at a local level, so at the school level, and about the pedagogical practices being employed to ensure that all children are being catered for. The template provided will give you structure to your analysis of each school statement and the interpretation of policy and inclusion it presents. A school statement analysis exemplar has been provided in the assessment resources, which you can also see here. This is given so you can clearly see an example of the application of a school's priorities and programs into that table framework. Use this to guide you and assist you with breaking down the information provided into the necessary framework. As I stated previously, we will also be looking at another application of this with an example school statement in the live Collaborate, which we will hold next week. We'll break down the statement in regards to fulfilling the expectations of the table, and we'll do this as a group. So these practical applications are invaluable so that you can actually see this in practice and know exactly what is expected of you for this assessment. Once your team has completed the table for all 3 school statements, you will then move on to write your individual personal statement of approximately 500 words, and it needs to answer this question. Based on your team's analysis of the school statements, which pedagogical approaches do you plan to adopt in your own practice to ensure all children are catered for? So think about such approaches and factors as the learning environment, involving communities, inclusive practices and concepts, educational and wellbeing priorities, programs, language, and so forth to heighten your reflective statements. Also, how does current research support your future plans of what you will adopt in your own classroom to ensure all children are catered for? You must support your individual statement with relevant scholarly literature. So even though it's your own reflection and you can write it in first person if you like, you need to support it with academic literature drawn from the learning materials and beyond. This is your individual statement in regards to your own future pedagogical practices. However, academic support must be provided to justify your choices. Finally, remember to use all of those resources and experiences available to you at SOL, and you will set yourself up for success. Each of these are designed to develop, scaffold, and deepen your understanding to positively impact you in your assessment outcomes. So we wish you every success in this assessment tasks and gather all your questions, and we will see you at the live Collaborate session next week. Thank you.